In fact, most of the projects that you pick up will fail. A few only will succeed, and a few will succeed disproportionately. The idea is to find those disproportionate ones. But that can't happen if you place your bets only on one thing. You'll have to do a large volume of work, which is the philosophy that I operate with. But two other things that you should look at is this going to be relevant for the next 2-3 years, so that you have enough runway to work things out, to make things happen, to fail enough number of times within a set role, which is when you will learn.
One question before we move to the final section of this conversation, and that final section is around, career reflections and everything. You briefly mentioned about your band, but would love to hear a little bit more about Time Throttle, all the amazing things that you guys have been doing. And I know that you all have very interesting day jobs.
Yeah.
Everyone. So please, let's talk about the Time Throttle. I think you're even wearing that t-shirt.
Always.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, and Time Throttle art is AI generated before AI was cool.
You guys are way ahead of time. You take like progressive rock, no?
Yeah, progressive rock. Yeah, we have to play the role.
Yeah.
Which is also why the hair. I can't be crooked and playing drums. I have to have a persona, which works well. I've gone through many hairstyles, beards, to finally arrive at the first one, because it came most naturally. So yeah, Time Throttle. Yeah, it's my most loved project, most hectic, least financially rewarding, most emotionally rewarding. So it always gets a lot of priority. I've been playing drums for 21 years now. I should have clocked my 10,000 hours by now and become a master, but I'm far from it. When you're in engineering or any college, because you're in a small environment, a closed space largely, everyone is scheduled to come into campus. If you're not staying on campus, you're scheduled to go out of campus. But you are all confined to a physical space. So finding band members is very easy. So therefore, I've had so many bands in college. Because musicians, or in college you're not a musician unless you're Jimi Hendrix. But in college you are someone who likes to play music. So it's very easy to come around people who like to play music. So I've had bands in college, which were also the world to me when I was a member of those bands in college. But now when I look back, I realize that was so easy. Because when you're not in college and you're a working professional, then to find time to come together and practice is so hard, so challenging. Because you have to commute first of all, reach a common place, which is not your office, which is not your home. It's something else. Then to do that, you have to take out time from everything else that you do, that you can put in. You can also just relax after a hectic day of work. But to go and zone in on trying to play is a challenge. So 2019, when this band called Tool, very interesting progressive rock music. It's a band based out of the US. A lot, quite psychedelic, quite heavy, big, glorious music. Very interesting. They were releasing an album after 13 years. And I had already spent 4 or 5 years of studying their music, like going deep into it, understanding the rhythms, understanding the time signatures. I do this. Before Tool, I had spent 7 years dedicatedly studying Porcupine Tree. Before that, I had dedicatedly spent a few years studying and listening to Pink Floyd. this has been my music journey. And progressive also has evolved a little bit like this. Yeah, there are so many progressive bands otherwise also, but these three have been my path. So 2019, when Tool was about to release their album, I was so excited. I couldn't contain. So I decided that I'm going to put out a drum cover of a song called Lateralis by Tool on the day of their album release. So they were releasing an album on 30th August, I think, 2019. And somehow my beloved friends popped up in my life around the same time who were pursuing a project on putting out music videos for independent artists so that they could find another person to collaborate with. So I was their first, and I think the only music video that they produced. Other than that, everything other people have produced. So we happened to meet, and I told these guys that I have an idea. I want to do this. They said, cool, let's do it. We'll record it. Some people from my office also came for my recording. These friends also came for my recording. My wife was also, of course, there. So we were 6 people in a music studio, and I recorded horrible playing, really bad. It was all engineered. Now I can say that it was cut from various parts and brought together. Somewhere the original song was overridden to hide my shitty playing. But I released that song by missing the deadline by a day. Instead of 30th August, I released it on 31st August. And that day I was driving down from Delhi to Chandigarh to me and Pavika, my wife. We were driving to Chandigarh for a meetup that she was having in her college, ISB. So we were driving there. And I received a message that saw your video. We also practice in the same studio and the same band. Would you like to try? So I'm always slow to respond to most things. I take my time because I want to be very sure. Because once I commit, then I'm committed. I will not move. It's very hard. And that's a problem. So I have to commit very carefully. So this guy messaged me, and 3 days later I replied to him that yeah, I'm ready to meet and have a jam session with you guys. I think we scheduled sometime 10 days later, and I went to the studio. We jammed in the same studio where the recording happened, on the same song and a few more songs by the same band. And there was one song called Rosetta Stone, which is super interesting. Rosetta Stone is an 11-minute song which has a second intro, which is the 4-minute song, which has a first intro, which is a 1-minute song. So net it's a 16-minute long song. And it is a drummer's dream to play that song. And I had already spent 2 years of independent practicing, playing the rudiments, the small components, the details. And I just asked in the jam, do you know how to play Rosetta Stone? He said, yeah, I know how to play Rosetta Stone. So I'm like, dude, this is my life. Let's play. So we played for like 4-5 minutes. Then we crumbled because it's super complicated. So we fell apart. But I had 4-5 minutes of playing Rosetta Stone. And we took a break between the jam session, and I asked the guitarist that, how serious are you? He's like, what girlfriend kind of questions are you asking me? So I was like, no, I'm really seriously asking you, are you serious about this band or is it just another thing? He said, I'm damn serious. Him and I, the guitarist, Abhishek, and me, we got locked. And we are still locked. It's been 6 years. This band was his brainchild. And it wasn't like I want to have a band. It was I want to find people that I can play Rosetta Stone and other Tool songs with, which was my opinion also. I just wanted to find people that I can play this interesting music with and be able to play. So we practiced the hell out of this music for 2 years with 4 months of break in between when it was pandemic 1, wave 1, lockdown 1, sorry, and lockdown 2. We went to the studio every alternate day for 6 months at a stretch. In the first 3 months, we went from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. after office hours. In the next 3 months, because we were spending too much time in traffic, we decided to go from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So we used to wake up at 5:30, 6 and go and play heavy music early in the morning. It was amazing. And then the only thing that could really stop us was the lockdown. So the first lockdown happened, we stopped. The second lockdown happened. Interestingly, before the first lockdown happened, I had in my team at Wingify at that time, we were all doing some experience for team members once a month. So every time someone would do it. It used to be mostly a presentation in office. So I told my team, I'm not doing a presentation. I'll play for you guys. Come to the studio. So I did an in-studio session with my team. 15 people, I think, turned up. They all sat down inside the studio, and we all played heavy music for them. It was a good, fun experience. We were all very young musicians at that time, not much practice. But we did our best. Paresh came and told me, 20 points for passion. It was very cool. And I told him, so this is what I love to do. And he's like, yeah, I understand. Cool, nice. So pandemic happened. Then this band, I became a part of it. It was already existing. For 6 months before I came in, the original drummer had gone to the US to study further. And therefore, if the drummer is not there, basically the band will pause. Because no band can play without a drummer. The belief is otherwise that... I actually chucked that. I don't want to talk about that. So we became, we got locked. We practiced so much. We became really good, really tight. And once I moved to Goa, then the plan was, in fact, fun fact here, that I implemented agile methodology for my band. That we'll do sprints and we'll achieve this much every couple of weeks. And figured out that a 5-day sprint works best for us. If you want to really rough it out. So 2 jam sessions, one morning, one evening, for 5 days continuous, and life will be under control. If you do it till 7 days, life will start falling apart, which happened. So it's based on data. When I moved to Goa, then I decided that I'll go to Delhi every couple of months and practice. But it didn't make financial sense. So we said, now we have a product also. We have 75-80 minutes of practiced musical content. So let's start performing. So that my visit to Delhi can make financial sense. From Goa to Delhi, so that we can practice. 3 years, we have now done 45 odd shows in India, in 11 cities. We are now a profitable band. We have a runway of doing a tour without having to put any money from our pocket. The band can only fund it. We started with the first show that we did. I decided that I want to put a marketing budget of rupees 2,000 from my side because I love my band. Now we do a tour and we have a marketing budget of 2.5 lakhs. And I don't think many bands do this. I think it comes from the fact that my band has a marketer, another marketer who's not formally, professionally pursuing marketing, but he's a great marketer, very good performance marketer. He's the guitarist. And my band also has a sales head. Not in the band, but in his professional life. So because he's a sales head at a software company, he knows sales. So he sells shows in which we make a promise to a venue that we'll get X number of people. And then the marketing department, that is me and another guy, we start our performance marketing, organic marketing to achieve that X deliverable. There's a very fun story on this. We were doing a show in Delhi at Informal CP, Connaught Place, where the venue told us that they have a capacity of 350 people, 380 people. 1 or 2 days before the show, when we had sold 350 tickets and informed the venue that we've sold 350 tickets, the venue told us, oh shit, oh no, we're so sorry. We gave you a high target because usually people can't fill the venue. The capacity is only 250. And we are at 380 tickets sold. We have a guest list of 90 people. Assuming that 30% people will not show up, which happens, we'll also have on at the venue ticket sales to happen. When we reach the venue, we calculate and we're like, this is not even 250. This is 220 people max if it's stuffed. That day, we had 600 people in the show. All ticket buyers, I think all, came to the show. Our entire guest list came to the show. So many more people came and bought the tickets on spot. It was a mad experience. The air conditioners of the place gave up. Our big speakers on stage are overheating and about to give up. And it's a packed scene, people on top of each other, just how a rock show should be. So we started with a marketing budget of 2,000 in our first show, went to a marketing budget of 2.5 lakhs, and oversold venue capacity by 2-3x. Of course, the size is small, but we've had so many shows with more than 500 people come up in Delhi and Bangalore mainly. Hyderabad has seen 300-350 people turn up, and it's absolutely amazing. Our last tour, which was our biggest tour, was in April. We did 7 cities in 10 days. And that was our last tour of the said current product, because we are done with covering another band. For many reasons, we will never be them. It's their music, so it's done the job that it wanted to do for us. And it's high time that we start making our own music. So that's our current quest. Our previous product is done, it's closed. We are now in the process of making our next product, for which I've been practicing a lot. I've created this music studio for myself where other people can also come and jam, so that I can also get more exposure and go into the studio with more ideas to contribute better to my band. Because there's only so far that marketing can take you. You need to also have a good product. Yeah.
No amount of marketing can save a bad product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we say
Now
this.
we need to have a good product.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
We need a product. We don't have a product right now. We do have a brand. And there are people waiting that when will this brand come back and do some shows. Very interesting story from 2 weeks back. I got a message 4-5 months back on Instagram, which I'm not active on. Hi Siddharth sir, when are you doing the next Tool tribute show? I am waiting to attend it. I came for your 2 shows in Hyderabad. I didn't reply. I saw the message. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah. And the end of story there. 2 weeks, a month back, the same guy messages me on my Airbnb account, Insta, that I am looking for a place to come and stay. What are some options you have? And I was like, dude, this guy and this guy are the same. So I told him that I would like to give you an additional 10% discount. Come. So I have upselling and cross-selling happening within my businesses also. So I really absolutely enjoy Time Throttle. I wear this t-shirt every day. Not the same, I have 20 because I'm the manufacturer also, not directly, but I have tied up with another brand. And I keep a stock always if I end up hosting someone who's been to my show, which has happened a few times, so I give them a t-shirt. I've also created a marketing campaign around anyone who wears the Time Throttle t-shirt will get a free entry to our show. So we've had a few people who've come in wearing this t-shirt. A few days, some time back, I think there was Mahindra Great Indian Rock or something, Mahindra Rock happening in Bombay, where one of my friends was sitting and he's like, I saw someone wearing the Time Throttle t-shirt. That was very cool.
it makes you so happy just to see those things out there being used, being worn by someone else. But
taking its own life.
I think that's the beauty of it, right? And especially when it comes to like art, music is an art, and you're in the
Yeah,
process of creating like a whole bunch of it, I think it makes all the difference to know that there's someone out there who's waiting for you to drop the next song, who's waiting
yeah,
for you to just do the next show, so they can come visit, they can bring their friends, and they can have like a fun experience.
yeah, yeah. And it's also a lot of responsibility. You can't give them a bad product. You have to do the best that you can, which is also a limitation, but nothing less than doing justice to that weight that people are giving you. So it's a compliment and it's a lot of responsibility also.
Agreed. I think I need to go and do a little more research on progressive rock. I don't know a lot. I would like to say that I have a very eclectic taste in music. I mean, I just like to enjoy music. So, irrespective of whatever genre it comes from, if I enjoy it, if I vibe to it, that's it. I whatever music I heard of those snippets which were posted on like Instagram and all, I was like, this is good, this is interesting, this is fun. I think I've learned so many interesting things through this conversation. And just moving to the final part of this conversation right now, and this is the part where I ask guests to share, talk about career reflections and things that they believe have worked for them. Uh, my question here is, over the past few years, like, the time spent in corporate, time spent building your own businesses, growing your own businesses, what are some things that you would like to share with other marketers and others who want to, do a similar journey? And let me also bring up a couple of points which I thought were very interesting when we first spoke. You mentioned something about trying to aspire to be the second best rather than being the best, and that has kind of stuck with me. Kind of way to take the pressure off, but also like making sure you're still way ahead. So I think that was one. And the second one was also around your own personal philosophy of doing things very nicely. When I say nicely, you said, again, a statement which just stuck with me, you're in the business of being nice. So, those kind of things. Like, there are some principles which have served you well so far. Uh, let's talk about those. And just recollect, I've not asked you one other thing, but let's talk about this first, then we'll get there.
This is also a loaded one. So about second best. Early on, when I mentioned that I cracked NIT Kurukshetra, that was my goal. My goal was not to crack an IIT and the top colleges in India. It's not like I gave up or anything. I wanted to set a goal for myself where I'm not too stressed about things. Um, NITs are not far behind. Yeah, IITs are great, globally recognized colleges. So are NITs, and I was pretty happy about that. Um, Similar story when I cracked Mica. I knew that it's not an IIM, but I also do. That's not my goal. Being second best is absolutely fine, unless you have that kind of ego, that kind of determination to be the absolute best. It can also be a worthless pursuit uh, for many, but for some, it is a great pursuit. And I'm in awe when I don't follow sport at all, but 32 teams will participate, knowing that they are not the best, but give it their best only for one team to finally win. That's so weird and inspiring and motivating so much dynamic there. Like in early 2000s, when India would participate in the World Cups, we knew that it would not win, but we would be hopeful, and the team would give it its best. And in some time, Indian team became the best, won the World Cup. Things happened. I want to take off that pressure from myself, and I still I'm okay about it, especially now when I see so many top founders, top leaders who have not done an engineering from an IIT, who have not done an MBA, who've not done a post graduation, and times allowed have changed to allow people who've not graduated from the top and done the top to figure out life and be successful, and whatever their measure of success is. Um, so that's one part. So you mentioned about the business of being nice. When I joined Wingify, um, there were decisions that would be taken slowly and steadily, which could also mean slow for a lot of people. And I had peers who used to get impatient that why decisions not being taken. I found my solution to it, which was if decisions are not being taken, pick up 10 projects. 2 of them will move forward. And that happened. I was always working on many different things. So I had something shipping every week. Something would cross the finish line. That was my solution to decisions being slow, which is absolutely great. You need to take your time to be sure of things and then go ahead, commit, and see it through. So, in many ways, I think that Wingify got so many things right. And one of the things that come with being slow is that you also become comfortable and nice to each other. It was the first company where I did not see politics. I did not see people biting each other in the back, backstabbing. I didn't see that because everyone was just so nice to each other. I have no idea how the organization achieved this. Yeah, there is a top-down culture that is passed on, but to sustain it, to make sure that it remains, is a very big deal. So when I joined Wingify, I didn't have plans to leave, but you would run this in your mind that when I am leaving, what will be my bye-bye mail? And I used to think that I'm going to write this, that here I learned that you can be nice and still do business. And that is a very strong takeaway for me personally. And I would like for more people to accept this, that you don't need to be ruthless. Yeah, it can be cutthroat, but if you're confident about the work that you do, if you do well, if you're solving for a genuine problem or a need, then you will find success and growth. So I really appreciated that, and I imbibed that whatever happens through my day, I will try to be nice. It's not so easy to practice, especially with your closest ones. You can be nice to unknown people, which is also sometimes hard, but it takes practice. Now that I have lived with this thought for 6-7 years and gotten the opportunity of practicing it independently through business for a few years, it has kind of become second nature. There are days when I fumble, I am not nice to people, but in a very small capacity. I don't harm the other individual. I lose patience, I kind of become aggressive. That comes with being human. One day when I'm a sage, I will probably out of it, but not right now. I have definitely prioritized that if given a situation where there's aggressive growth or slow paced growth but with a good feeling, I will go for the good feeling. I will prefer having a good time because I'm living a life as a human being and not as numbers. So I need to be feeling good. I need to be taking my emotions into account. And the world needs more niceness. If you can be nice, then why not? But that also comes from a background which may be a privileged, gives you a support system, that you can afford to be nice. I've been in a point where was financially pushed, and that time being nice was tough, but I still tried. So if you're financially doing okay, if you're feeling good about yourself, then you can be nice, and I think that's a very uh, good goal to have, or good way to progress. You don't need to be aggressive. And in fact, uh, India's largest crossword, the crossword, I have converted that into a board game where India's largest crossword is now called ILC, which is a spy organization which tries to recruit civilians who are good at what they do but are very good with language, because ILC operates on the principle that you can maintain world peace through dialogue, by discussions, through conversations. So I've got this being nice concept into ILC as well. And as a mentor, I'm never strict with my people. I am never chasing deadlines for their assignments. It's their job. They have to do it. The assignments are for them. I can only be supportive and show that yes, life will come in the way. You will have some other important things to attend to. So you may not be able to submit assignments, but that's your responsibility. I should not be a strict mentor. So I imbibe it there also. Then I am in the business of hosting right now, where I have to be nice. Imagine you welcoming a guest into your home and you're having an argument in your family. They will not feel welcome. So you have to be, and people are traveling. Like I said, that when people joined Mica, they chose it because they wanted to be there. I live in an environment right now where people work hard in their cities and travel here to feel good. And they're here out of choice. They are not stuck in a city or in the metro traveling to office. So people come here where I stay with a good positive mindset. So I've also kind of designed an environment around me where there is niceness around. However, it's fleeting. People come and go. But nice people come and go nicely. They come in with expectation that I'm going to have a good time while on holiday, which happens to be in Goa. And I'm going to go back with memories. And in that period, imagine having a host who's like, don't do this, don't do that. We are very free about what people should do. Civic sense everyone has. Some things need to be solved, which is my job. So I'll handle them. Yes, there are days when I lose patience. So now I've kind of monetized being nice.
I think that's a nice way of putting it. I think I'm kind of having difficulty wrapping my head around a whole bunch of things you said, a bunch of different things, but I think niceness is never going to go out of fashion, be it business, be it you're working for someone else's business. It's the way in which you build relationships, it's the way in which you grow together, and it's the thing, right? What's that saying? You should rather trap something with honey rather than, something sour. I don't remember. There is a saying in English, like, being nice is going to get you, like, farther rather than being very, prickly and difficult to work with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
completely agree.
so it comes down to that. Uh, any closing thoughts on, things that have worked for you in your career and that you would like to share with the audience?
I would like to share a couple of nuggets of advice. Firstly, it takes some time to find your footing. If you're lucky, you will find it early, but most people take time. I have observed, based on my experiences and my peers' experiences, I don't have the experience of the entire world, but this sample size, people take usually 3 jobs or 7 years to find a good footing. That's when you land into a role that you like, enjoy. And that will also change with time, but at least for some time, you will enjoy what you do, you like what you do. It takes some time. Second thing that really worked for me was when I practiced my realization that the company is bigger than me. So I'm not here to change it. I'm here to help it in its current shape and form. And this also came with having worked at multiple organizations. In my first job, I didn't go into. I was like, I have a job. Wow, that's a big deal. In my second and in my third job, I went in that I'm going to change things here, and that creates friction. But in my fourth organization, which happened to be Wingify, I joined the organization with the thought that I'm not here to change things. I'm here to help the organization work. For that, if some process needs to be changed, if some way of working or if some mode of communication needs to be changed, a small part of the organization to bring in more efficiency, then that is a part of my job. That is to help the company do well. I don't want to change people's opinions. But yeah, with time, if you grow big and you have enough potential impact on the world, you can change things. Hopefully in a positive way, nicely, in a good manner. So you're not here to change things. You're here to go with the organization flow and make the flow stronger. Which is the next thing I'd like to say. When I started 10 years back, product marketing didn't exist. For me, it was there in some parts of the world. It was there in some industries. 5 years later, product marketing started becoming big. Growth as a function existed in 2014 as growth hacking, which changed shape and form and became growth after a few years. A few more roles have come and gone, and that will keep happening. So don't be hellbent on one thing only. Be open to new things coming around that you would like to be a part of. Be open to experiments, to changes, to trying things, to also fail at a few things. Be okay with that. In fact, most of the projects that you pick up will fail. A few only will succeed, and a few will succeed disproportionately. The idea is to find those disproportionate ones. But that can't happen if you place your bets only on one thing. You'll have to do a large volume of work, which is the philosophy that I operate with. Do so many things that one of them really takes off. Maybe right, maybe wrong. But this is how I have designed my life philosophy, and I'm working with it. And I'm having fun, I'm enjoying it. For now. Let's see what the future is. I'll work towards making it good. That's my job. That's on me. No one's here to give me a good life. I have to create it. Then there's one thing I won't be able to articulate it the way Rohit Srivastav articulated it in one of his LinkedIn posts. That life is not fair, and once you accept this, you can make it fair for yourself. Something around those lines, or at least this was my interpretation, and I really liked it. Yes, life is not fair. If it's not fair, do you want to be on the suffering side? Be on the other side, but yeah, at the same time, don't cause suffering. Make life work for you. And one more thing, sorry, too many tips and advices, but for anyone to be successful, there is only so much that is in your control. There are larger things at play. So luck plays a very big factor. But for luck to work for you, you have to work. So the more you spread things out, tell the world give signs to the universe that you are here to receive. You will, then only the opportunity will knock at your doors and will ask you, are you ready to receive? So you can only do your part. This is a line from Lord of the Rings, closing thoughts. Uh,
There
when
is.
Frodo,
Sorry, please
yeah,
go ahead. Please go ahead.
there's so much philosophy in Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
There is.
it is so much.
I think
When COVID happened, I told my reportee that when Gandalf and Frodo are sitting in the mines of Moria, uh, Frodo says, "I didn't ask for all of this," and Gandalf replies, "You, uh,
it's
you
basically
can't control." Yeah.
it's basically something to the effect that sometimes you just can't choose what things are going to be placed in front of you, but you can choose how you react or how you
Yeah,
do with the time that you have, or
yeah.
something to
What
that
you do
effect.
with the time that you have,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Something around that. Yeah, need to revise a lot of things clearly.
It's a sign. We
It's a
really
sign.
need to watch.
Yeah. But the part that I was quoting, besides this one, I wish I had remembered it properly. It would have been such a cool segue. But when in the third part, Frodo meets Faramir, and Faramir realizes that Frodo knew Boromir, so he asks him, uh, "Were you his friend?" And Frodo replies, "For my part." So you can only do your part in life and do your part. Other things will follow. Some will be in your favor, some will not be in your favor. But what is in your control? What you can do.
When you think about it, so much of our career is philosophy.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
I think this is why we need to read a lot more philosophy books to get like a little more understanding of life, because it's going to permeate in all aspects of our life.
Yes.
One thing, Siddharth, which occurred to me is while listening to your entire career journey, you went into a great deal of depth as to how you got into each of these roles. But one thing we did not touch upon we did not dive into was how have you made these career decisions whenever you have taken on like a new role? What was what were the thoughts behind it? Was there like a framework of sorts? Please share a little more about that.
Okay. Um, so I don't know if I've taken all of my best career decisions, uh, but I've made progress over the last 10 years. Could have made more progress also, could have also tanked completely. But here I am having grown. So, a couple of things that made me take decisions. Some were the situation, the scenario. Like when I was at Sulekha, I had to take a decision which was determined because of my external environment. I had to, I didn't have an option. I could not stick around in that organization for longer. So, external factors will determine whether you should uh, switch or not, where you should switch. Also, when I was getting married, I knew that I had to change my location. So that is also an external factor. So I had that constraint that I have to move to Delhi only, Delhi NCR, so that I can be with my life partner. And these things will happen in life. It is not going to be, nothing is going to be permanent. The external environments will uh, drive you to take some decisions unless you can really control those external factors, which is going to be rare for most people. Um, Another thing that I realize now, I could not have realized it at that time earlier, is that if an opportunity feels right at the moment, there's also a gut instinct, an instinct that you need to, as a human being, take into account. In case it doesn't work out, you can always move out. Um, I also think that whatever career decisions you take, yeah, they should feel right at the moment. But two other things that you should look at. is that, is this going to be relevant for the next 2-3 years, so that you have enough runway to work things out, to make things happen, to fail enough number of times within a said role, which is when you will learn. And fail as in various projects you will pick up, some will not work out, you will find the answers to why it did not work out. In the next iteration you will fix that, something else will break it, then you try another iteration, a few iterations later it will work out. My theory is it takes 8 attempts. That's my theory. Another thing is, when you are getting into a role, will that open up new opportunities for you a few months or years down the line? That's also very important, because you want to transition into the next step also. It could become a manager, it could become a leader, it could become a founder, it could go into another industry. So how a certain role is cross-applicable, not just in your where you are right now or where you're going to be, where does it lead you to? That is also very important to look at. And that data is largely available unless it's something completely new. And there are very few things that are completely new. They are another version of something. So you can find something that's very close to whatever you're pursuing to draw analogies. I hope that helps.
Oh, it definitely does. I think even right now, if you think about everything that you mentioned, when you started off with product marketing, it was kind of just entering India, and you had like that front row seat, so to speak. And then you could see, like, the relevance of it. Like, is this something which will still hold in effect a few years down the line? So it made sense whether you could continue down that path, or maybe it made sense to maybe move down a content marketing or a marketing ops, or your, performance marketing kind of a way. So I think that kind of a framework was probably already there at the back of the mind when you were making those decisions. And right now also, I think with everything coming in with AI, the same kind of mindset will have to be brought in. Like, is this going to be relevant even next few years down the line? Are we still going to see a lot more of this? I think prompt engineering is like one, just off the top of my head. But there would be several things which would come up. So I think it's a good rule of thumb to just think about it through that sort of lens. That helps.
Yeah, being open really helps. Figuring out why are you going to pursue this, a certain role, a certain field, a certain industry, and being open to other options so that you can evaluate the better of the 2 or 3 options you have. Never ever switch jobs with only one offer. Have 2 and choose the better of them so that you have something to compare. A data point in isolation means nothing. It has to be compared with something to know whether it's good or bad. So similarly, whenever you're applying for jobs, try to get 2 opportunities. It's a tough market right now, but there's always room for a good candidate. People are always looking to hire the best candidate out there. So if you're good, you will crack multiple opportunities. And I've kind of always had multiple opportunities to choose from. When I was joining Freshworks, I had the opportunity to join another internet classifieds giant. I had the opportunity of joining a mutual funds infrastructure company, which is also huge. It's publicly traded also. And there was B2B SaaS Freshworks. I chose B2B SaaS because I thought that this is the new field and I want to grow with the field. If the field is much bigger than me, if the field grows, it takes me with it. And I think that kind of worked out. I've also now come to realize that it takes 10 years for results to start becoming visible. Those who became a founder at 20, 22 years of age, by the time they're 32, 33, the results start becoming very evident. Either it worked out or it didn't. Either way it could move. But it takes 10 years. And I also think that sometimes I think that I should have become an entrepreneur earlier. I would have given those 10 years much earlier in life. But you never know. Maybe if I started earlier, I would have completely failed. So, whatever decisions have been taken. You roll with them.
it's pointless to just kind of ruminate over what ifs. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, you live in the present and you just work with whatever the best cards you have in your hand right now.
yeah.
You just make decisions that way. But yeah,
At
that's
every moment, there are an infinite things that you're not doing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You're just basically choosing the best one of all the other things that you could be doing. Right now, you could be sleeping.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
doing this.
exactly. But yeah, this is the best thing to do at this moment.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you also want to enjoy life, right?
Yeah. True,
Day
true.
to day. Have fun.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for your time today. I had such a blast recording this, and I'm so excited for this to be out in the world later because this was fun, this was educative, this had a lot of LOTR references.
As it should be.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And more importantly, I think it gave like a very good sneak peek into, how life looks like after you've spent like working in-house and while you're building your own businesses. So I think
Yeah.
it gives a very good overview of both aspects of your career. So thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much, Meeta, for having me over and giving me more importance than I deserve by asking me and putting me on this side where people could learn some things from me. And that's absolutely wonderful and humbling for me. Thank you so much.